Bienvenue. Welcome to another episode on the Chez Parlay podcast. Today, it's more than music. It was a moment. I had the honor of meeting a true artist at his exclusive NYC listening party for Midnight Confessions. His motto, Make Bachata Great Again. But let's be real. When this man creates bachata, it never left. It just simply evolved. His melodies linger like memories. His verses hit like truths you tried to forget. He's surrounded by icons, but make no mistake, he's carving out a legacy of his own. His triumphs are beautiful naturally. His last name is Bello or Bello. He told the shorties to pick up the phone because he already knows they're alone. Today, I have the pleasure of sitting down with the voice, the vision, and rising royalty of Latin music, Wilven Bello.
What up? I like that introduction, dog.
Right?
It was dope.
I put that together a couple of days ago. I was like, you know what? Like, this man needs an introduction, man.
Be honest, how long it took you to do it?
Half an hour. I wanted to piece it together like nicely, you know what I'm saying? I've been rocking the album in, the whip on rides. Like, I really appreciate the music, man.
Which one is your favorite record?
I like the I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, so that's the thing that I'm like kind of scared to say, but
I got it.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
So I like my top 3 for now, but I'm gonna tell you which one my favorite. So I have Mi Droga, Dale Volume, and No Nací Para Ti.
No Nací Para. I figured you would like those.
Yeah, I like those.
Yeah, I figured because it has that like type of like reggae Afrobeat type thing going on, and I'm kind of like singing in that Jamaican accent a little bit.
I loved it. Like it was like it's just a vibe though. Like because truly, respects to you, man. Like you're carrying this essence of like classicness, but like modern at the same time,
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That is what I'm trying to shoot for, right? I try to use like the old school type of, which they call in bachata is called amargue.
Amargue.
It's more like soul.
Yes.
Yeah, so I try to do like that old school, but then mix it with today's music.
Yeah.
A little bit of like Chris Brown.
Yeah.
MJ, Usher. Artists that I grew up listening to.
Yeah.
So
and I felt like you had a lot of. Speaking of soul, like I felt like there was a lot of warm vibes in the room, like from. Your audio engineer to Lenny, who was on the project. Just like a lot of good people supporting you, man.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's a dream come true, man.
Yeah. So we're gonna get into it. I want to know the trip of like how you got there, like where you began. Tell the people a little bit about Wilven Bello. I'm saying Bello or Bello.
It's Bello, but you can say Bello. It's cool.
Bello.
It's cool.
Because I know like the Italian, French, like
it is an Italian last name.
Yeah. So super, super dope. But just, for the people that are coming across you on my platform for the first time, just let them know who you are and what you do.
All right. I'm an upcoming artist, Wilven Bello. I'm signed to Lenny Santos from Aventura.
Yes.
I've been doing music since I was born, basically, because I feel like it's in my blood, right? I was born just, I grew up with like musicians around me and stuff like that. So I remember, being like 5, 6 years old, and my uncle used to get home from work, and he used to turn on the speakers, play some bachata and stuff, and you start bringing up the guira. I don't know if you heard of
the
instrument.
It's kind of like yeah.
So he would bring that. I would come like run to him and see him play, and then so one day he actually passed me the guira, and I started playing it.
That's
he was like, "You could curse here or no?"
Yeah, absolutely.
I said, "Yo, what the fuck?" Like he got rhythm.
Yeah.
And then
so it was like an instant connection since you were young.
Yeah, definitely.
That's dope.
And then at 10 years old, my father had bought me my first guitar.
Okay.
So he showed me like the basics.
Yeah.
And then from there, I started, I learned through YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank God for YouTube University.
Yeah, word.
Yeah.
And then little by little, I started, learning like other instruments like bongos, like
So
conga, tambora.
Which one do you gravitate to most?
The guitar.
The guitar. Yeah. Wow. So how many instruments do you play altogether?
I'll say about like 4 or 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And you taught yourself all
just
these
by ear.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's beautiful though. That's I feel like that's how I got into production.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of people are like, oh, do you play? I'm like, no, but like I play by ear. And I feel like in that sense, like maybe like spiritually, like they always say like, if it comes to you naturally and you do music, like
it's better than actually going to school.
They say you're like in God's army because you're like putting out that like good vibration, Well, depending on what path you choose.
Right. But, like for example, like I know people that are, that are better musicians than I am.
Yeah.
And let's say for like, some cousins that I have that they do music as well. And when I get with them and we talk music, they be like, oh, you can't do that. Like there's no rules in music.
That's what I'm saying. I know a lot of people that are technically or classically trained, but they limit themselves. They're always like capped.
Right.
Because like you're just playing from like spirit, right? And then they're playing from like exactly like, oh, you can't do that. You know what I'm saying? Which is it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's like, oh, like no, I'm recording what I feel. Like
yeah.
I really don't care what people think.
So you were born on stateside, right?
What was that?
You were born like in the US?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was born and raised in Paterson, New Jersey.
Okay. I was gonna say like one of my first questions was like bachata was born in like the barrio was born, in Latin countries, but like how was like your upbringing shaped in the way that you carry the genre today? Like how do you feel like you're holding it down for like,
In bachata and the genre?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm bringing something new, something different, right? Like I'm trying to keep the essence. That's how you say it.
Yeah, the essence.
Essence to bachata, but I also want to add different elements. Like I was saying before, a little bit of Chris Brown. I listen to everything, bro. Any music.
Who's somebody you're listening to, like, or who's one of your favorite artists that you really gravitate towards?
Chris Brown.
Chris Brown.
Yeah, Chris Brown, The Weeknd.
Yeah.
Drake.
Yeah. They all have like that true to life like situation.
Yeah.
And I felt that like in your album too. You know what I'm saying? Like again, there's sometimes the language barrier, but what I am picking up, I'm like, yo, this is real as hell.
Yeah, definitely.
Is there like, that's another question I have for you. Basically it's like, I was gonna say like, what is like something like a pain, like a backstory that became a song for you that like?
I would say Señor Bello.
Okay.
Señor Bello, which a lot of people don't know, but I don't write all of my music.
Okay. Daniel
actually writes everything.
Really?
Yeah,
wow.
He's sitting back here. He's hiding. But he usually writes.
See, it's always the quiet guy. Semi-quiet that's like, he's up to something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So he helps, like I usually tell him everything that I go through in life.
Okay.
So it's crazy how this song came about. You say you dreamed it, right? You had a dream or something? He had a dream. So he was like, yo, I got this idea. So he I started sending him melodies.
Okay.
He started like writing over it,
So you usually make the melody for the song.
Yeah.
And then he's putting the words to it off of your experience.
Right. Yeah. That's how that's how we usually work. Like I come up with melodies first. And
that's good that you have somebody like close to you like that can embody that emotion.
Yeah. I will always say that. I think I kind of said it on the album listening party.
Yeah.
I said like he's my Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah.
Like he's my mentor. He kind of guides me through everything.
Props to you, Daniel.
He's a good dude, man.
You're chilling right now, but yeah, that's fire.
1-on-1, man.
Yeah.
But
I'm glad to have you. While you got the drink in hand, let's cheers. Thank you, man. Thank you for coming through.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, for sure. No, like you guys, like you had like a very hospitable environment. Like a lot of times you walk in these rooms in these studios, and sometimes it's that Hollywood. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
everybody was really nice, polite, open arms,
outgoing.
It was a good vibe. Like I appreciated that, and I was like, you know what? Outside of just feeling it in your music, being a musician myself, I was like, yo, this is gonna be something.
That's dope, man. I'm glad you felt that way.
Yeah. No, I feel like honored to like have you because I know like sky's the limit for you. You know what I'm saying? Like we were talking about it before you came here. We know like there's politics and the music and gatekeeping and stuff. But like I think when you're meant to do it, like you're gonna leave your impact somehow, some way.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
God willing.
You got it. You got it. So speaking again, like your favorite artists and stuff like that, are you looking to get on that level where you can make a song with Chris Brown? Like, would that be one of your first major collaborations if you could make it happen?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, most
I could hear it happening too.
I already got ideas.
That's fire.
Like, you know, like it's already there, like in my a lot of people don't know, but I don't have my own like studio
Yeah.
You know, setup.
Okay.
I usually just use my phone, my guitar, and headphones. That's it.
See, that's the real stuff I love coming across on the podcast because it's like you might have somebody like yourself that's like, this is not really my thing, or like this is how I create. And like when you say that, they're like, oh man, somebody out there, like I connect with that. You know what I'm saying? So it's dope.
Yeah, man. I just you know,
what on the phone, what program in particular?
GarageBand, believe it or not.
GarageBand. No, that's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope. And then you send it to Dan or?
To Daniel, yeah. I'll send him like melodies and he'll tell me like, yo, like, nah, that's trash. That it's like, well, what's this guy's name from he'd be like, nah, that ain't it. There you go. He'd be like, nah, that ain't it, man.
Yeah. But that's good. You need that honesty. Some people are like too yes men.
Yeah.
And then it's like,
nah. He's pretty bold.
That's fire. That's fire. So what is offer like, okay, whether it's The Past or Midnight Confessions, what was a track you really enjoyed working on? Like, you know, the whole process of the song, like you were really feeling it or excited for?
I think the merengue, man.
Yeah.
Dale volumen, yeah.
Yeah.
Cause it's the way it happened. Like it's the way that the idea came to me. Cause one day I was just home, right?
Yeah.
And I just wanted to go out, right? Like, but something was telling me to stay home.
Gotcha.
So I'm like, you know what? Let me go get a little Casamigos, tequila, light up a little hookah.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. I was home in my living room. I was home alone.
Yeah.
Brought the guitar, started, you know, coming up with melodies and stuff. And DJ Adoni was playing on the TV because I had it on.
Okay.
He was playing and he was like, you know, DJing doing his thing.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I was looking at the scenery. I'm like, yo, it looks lit. So I was like, you know what? Let me put myself in his shoes. Create that. Like that's why like in the verse it says, que lo que dime a ver, vamos pa la 42 de Caputillo. You know, for me, like
he gave you the live. That's how you know he's an artist.
Yeah. So
that's dope.
So I came up with those melodies and those lyrics.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was
something magical.
Yeah, man. Like it's just the way it happened. Like it just hit me. I don't. Instead of going outside, chilling, you know, going out clubbing or whatever, I just stayed home and I created.
I think like when you what's the best way to say it? Like when you're transcoding or like you're just becoming like the waterfall to the energy where it's like, okay, I stay home. Got this idea out that the universe gave to me, you know what I'm saying? It's like now it's a living, breathing song. And it's like I could have went out, I could have like whatever, we could have smoked hookah, but then nothing came out, you know? Like maybe money out your pocket, but it's like now you got this idea that this hot record that, you know, you changed the world with, you know what I'm saying? Which is super, super dope.
Then I feel like a lot of people are connecting with that merengue.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they
That's why I said like even me, right? Like when I was at the listening party, I was like there right near like, who's your engineer?
Tranquilo, they call him Tranquilo. Tranquilo means like calm.
Tranquil.
Yeah.
See, like I know. So like he was really nice. He was tranquil. Like I went up to him, I was like, yo man, this mix is incredible. He's like, appreciate it. Because I know like the engineers sometimes like they don't get love, you know what I'm saying? Everybody else is like, yeah, there's the guy. No, it's like the engineer makes a lot happen. But
his mixing is crazy. His mix,
it was so clear. It's so crisp.
Yo.
Like the translation.
I don't see myself working with nobody like as a. I could work with other engineers, but I feel like that's always gonna be like my main guy.
When you find that bond, it's special. It's real special because he's the extension to what you and Dan put together, or like what Lenny adds. It's like the ideas get brighter and more beautiful.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's really, really dope. But he was a nice guy. But like as I was listening, like I said, it was like, you don't find this a lot in music, but like even if it was like a sadder song, there was like a warmth to it. And like there was a real like beautiful clarity to your music. And I was like, man, like this is translating to me vibrationally, that I was like, yo, even though I don't know how to perfectly dance to bachata or merengue, like I was like, this is fire.
It's probably, it's what I think. It's probably because it's real.
It's real.
It's pure, right? It's something that every song has a it's things that I've been through in life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure also Daniel's been through it because his pen game is crazy.
Yeah.
But that's why we ended up calling it Midnight Confessions. I also create. I feel like more ideas come during after midnight.
After hour, yeah. I was gonna ask you that. I was gonna like, how did you come up with that? Because it's like a vulnerable. Anytime you say confessions, it's like you talking about everything across the board. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What's crazy, that ideas come to me like anywhere. Literally. I could be at a restaurant, I could be at the gym, I could be anywhere, and it just, as soon as it comes to me, I have to take advantage and go to like a private area and kind of record that. That melody or idea on my phone. And then that's when I just go home. Once I get home.
Yeah. You get that itch though. Like, you just like, I gotta get this out.
Yeah. It kind of like, it's a feeling, right?
Dan, do you feel like that too? Like with the ideas? Like if he gets you an idea, like, as quickly, and then like, say he gives you like the core of it, do you feel that?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
He does come up with ideas very quick.
Gotcha.
When I tell him, he's very creative. So sometimes, the quantity is there, but the quality might not be there.
Gotcha.
So I said, you just shot 10 ideas at me in one, and maybe like one of them might be.
Yeah.
But I get it because he's very creative. So it's like, keep him coming.
Yeah. If you guys didn't hear, like Danny said, he said the quantity of the ideas there, and he tries to add like a certain quality. Like he's trying to take all your ideas, funnel them, and get the main idea.
I'm laughing because I remember this one time I was sending him so many ideas. He was like, bro, vete a contar. Like, go to sleep. No?
Go to sleep. That's beautiful though. Like, like you guys know, like even in this, like I missed that. Like I think I left the music game to get back to that basement vibe. I think as long as you kind of feel like you still in the basement, you still hungry, like never lose that. You know what I'm saying?
Now that you're saying that, I've seen a lot of like documentaries and interviews and stuff with other artists that, the higher they get in their career, they start changing things.
They do.
I don't want to do that.
No. You got to protect your brand.
If anything, the thing that I'll probably change is like travel more and kind of visit like different countries and stuff and just create there.
Okay.
But the same way.
Have you ever had a country that like inspired you like musically?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Colombia.
Wow. Okay.
I don't know if you heard it. I mentioned it a few times, and No Nací para ti, and also.
What is it about Colombia? I mean, I have an idea, but like, what about Colombia inspires you?
It's a great,
He said, that's a great question.
It's an amazing country, man.
Yeah. The man said it all in one line. He said it's amazing.
I could say it, I guess, because I'm single, right? Like I feel like the women.
Yeah, man.
Women is amazing.
Well, it's like Dominican women and Colombian women. I always feel like are battling for number one spot in the whole world, because like the whole world recognizes. Like I feel like the baddies come from two islands. You know what I'm saying?
It's true. It's true. They're all beautiful, man. They're all beautiful, and they're always.
Will said, "I know you alone. Pick up the phone." You know what I'm saying? He's like, whether you in Colombia or DR or Jersey or New York, pick up the damn phone. You know what I'm saying?
Females, man.
Yeah, he said females, man. But you females out there, you giving this man plenty of content to write about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
So
definitely.
What are some I have a question here too as well for you, like as a Dominican artist, right, in a global scene, how do you keep like the essence of like that island alive in your tracks? You know, like when you said like some people like sway away from like what they make, like how do you keep that energy of like you almost feeling that same energy around your uncle when you were a kid?
So I try not to keep that with every track.
Okay.
I try to pick and choose, right? Like, for example, like La Chapi has that old school type of vibe.
Exactly.
So I'll do like if I think like moving forward, any album that I do, I'm gonna do music for everyone.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna focus on just on one thing.
You made that happen. Like I said, I'm a French dude at the studio, and I was like, yo, me and my girl, we listen to a lot of Latin music, but like, again, I felt there's something, I don't know how to explain it. It's not me blowing smoke up your ass. It's me being sincere. It's like I really feel as a bachata artist, like your stuff is not like overwhelming in one way. It's just like a beautiful sound, man. Like for real.
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate those words, man.
Yeah.
But I try to do a little bit of everything. I do try to keep that, classic armague, ñoñaito type of like melodies or vibe, right? But I also try to do what's me, right? Like whoever I grew up listening to, for example, like I was saying before.
Yeah.
Like all these R&B artists and old school bachata artists. I try to kind of combine everything in one, right?
Like, how did you get the honor of like working with someone like Lenny from Aventura that's like backing up your brand? Like how did that come about?
Well, I remember the first time, I think it was like 2017, 2018.
Okay.
I recorded my own record, like myself, like every instrument.
Yeah.
It was called Ahora Dime Tú.
Okay.
So,
what does that translate to?
Ahora Dime Tú is now tell me. Now you tell me.
Okay.
So this DJ had hit me up on IG. I seen that he was like cool with like Lenny and Max and Romeo and like the whole Aventura camp.
Oh, nice.
So I was like, at the time, I'm like, oh, this is lit.
Yeah.
So he hit me up. He was like, yo, like I could help you, promote your record. So that to me at that time was like,
that's big.
Huge. Yeah, that was big. So we did business together. He helped me out or whatever. And then I had another investor come into, I'm not gonna say no names, but I had another investor come into the picture, and he kind of like told us, right, Daniel? He said, I want to show you what I could do within like 6 months, right?
Yeah.
Like 6 months, and then he did his thing or whatever, but unfortunately, we didn't think that he was the right guy for the job, right?
Okay.
Like we couldn't continue like the relationship.
Yeah.
That's when I actually met your girl, and that's when we got her for like the video and all that stuff.
Yeah. That was a dope video.
Yeah. It was dope. I had fun doing it actually, and that's when I met Lenny, because he actually got he paid him to do like a cameo.
Yeah.
So then after that, when was it that we got with Lenny? 2020 or 2021? So between 2020, 2021, we met up, we had a meeting, and at this time we had another investor.
Wow.
Which he kind of played us.
Damn. So it happens,
Damn, man. So me and Daniel had to go get out to get a loan.
Yeah, to get off of that.
To so we won't look crazy in front of like Lenny.
Yeah.
Like,
well, that's the thing that
we wanted to keep our word
behind the scenes all the time. That like everybody's seeing like the beautiful outcomes, the album releases, but they're not hearing like these minor tragedies across the journey. You know what I'm saying? But that's real. Thank you for sharing that.
It was a lot, man. So we that's how we got to work with Lenny. And then what's crazy is that we actually told Lenny, was like, hey, listen, like, this guy backed out, because we actually had a meeting, all of us, like, even the investor. The dude backed out. So he was like, don't worry about it, just bring Will to the studio, we'll figure it out. I just want to work with him. I want to see how he is in the studio.
Gotcha.
So once we started working, we was like 2 songs in, right? Right then it was like 2 songs, 3 songs in. And then he was like, yo, fuck that.
Oh, wow.
He was like, I'm going to sign him.
Really?
I'm going to sign him under my label and I'm going to invest.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a blessing.
Yeah, word.
What was
it's almost like it was meant to, right? Like it was
Did you feel, because like sometimes when you like get to those moments, they just feel right? Or were you just like overwhelmed? You're like, damn, like Lenny just signed.
I was overwhelmed.
Okay.
I was overwhelmed. We was actually in DR at that moment, right, D? We was in DR.
That kind of makes it special though.
Well, it was in,
like, it's in DR, you get signed, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and then the loan had hit.
Yeah.
He was like, yo, we got the loan.
It's nice.
We was already on our way back, right? Or we was on our way there? On our way back? It was on our way back home.
That's... Oh, wow. So, if you guys didn't hear, the investor that unfortunately messed them over, they had to take a loan to pay Lenny for the first proceedings to help, first couple of songs to, get them going. But that's the business of this. And, like, it's never cheap because, again, like, I guess you have someone like Lenny has this, like, standard and this, like, he's known worldwide, right. You know what I'm saying? We were in the clubs, like, I know even as like a white dude, it's like you had to get on your game with the Latin chicks, right? Because like Aventura came on back in like 2000s, like you had to dance something to bachata or merengue just to get, going in the clubs. So that's fire though. Like when the people you look up to believe in you, that's like different.
Yeah, once he said that, I was like, word?
Yeah.
I bet.
That's dope.
It's almost like everything was. I feel like I believe like everything happens for a reason.
Exactly. But see, like you built that. Like that's another thing. I feel like this built organically, in the sense it's like, okay, I'm gonna give you the opportunity to prove yourself, and you already have all that facilitated. Like you got the recipe that people already like.
Right.
So like that's why you said it's like you don't want to sometimes capitalize on it where it's like you're like a homemade hot sauce, but then if you got to sell to millions of people, is the quantities going to change that essence? You know what I'm saying? So like it's a lot of things to think about all the time,
You're right.
Yeah. But it seemed like a beautiful outcome. Like how did you really feel about the release party? Like
that was new to me. I never did that. So I was kind of, I don't know if you noticed, I was kind of like stuttering a lot.
No.
I was like nervous.
You seemed happy though.
I was happy. I was happy. I felt like the energy in the room was like, it made me feel comfortable.
That's good. Yeah. And that's what I felt too. Like coming in, like I didn't know anybody, you know what I'm saying? But like everybody was welcoming, and I think I appreciate the music more.
Right.
Because it was like, I didn't feel like hesitancy. Like I felt like, Lenny's Lenny, but like I even went up to him. What was the I was listening to one song, like visuals started coming to me automatically. I was like, yo, I see the video. Like in my head, it's like some girl broke your heart and like, like your whole world turned like black and white. And I was like, your energy is like you holding a flower and it comes back to life in your hand. And you're like, I just saw all this stuff.
That's your boy right here. Yeah. His pen game is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see, like, again, like I will always say, I don't see myself working with nobody else as a writer. Maybe we could have like other, like, 1 or 2 like extra writers or whatever, but I will always have him as the main guy. And he keeps growing himself too. Like,
that's beautiful. Like, how do you guys preserve that energy between yourselves where like maybe a lot of people want to come between you? I know that happens in the industry too.
Oh yeah. That's happened a lot of times, man.
Yeah.
There's not gonna say no names, but there's people that try to offer me
something, but not him. You know, they're like, oh, if you
no, they offer me like $500,000, and I turned it down to leave him, and I turned it down.
Wow.
And then once they seen that, they went to him and it was like, yo, I'll give you $1 million to leave Will and come work with me with my other artist. And he was like, nah, I'm not doing that. Absolutely, so that just, that's loyalty right there. Like that. Money's not everything, man.
That really isn't.
Money's not everything.
Because especially nowadays, like $1 million, you might spend that in 2 years, like a $20 bill, like at the store. You know what I'm saying?
And I needed it.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is crazy that I actually needed it. Like I was hurting at one point. I was like, damn.
I know.
But I just didn't.
But that's a beautiful thing. Like the devil's temptation is going to come around at those times, and it's like it's really a testament. But then you got all these other beautiful opportunities are going to come. Like the good road is never not bumpy, and it's never not,
Things gonna happen, man.
Absolutely. I feel it for you guys. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you guys have a good energy. It's just things you recognize from maybe my own journey, and I feel it around you guys. And it's like I haven't known you like that, but it's essence, like,
real recognize real.
That's it. Like how has like when it comes to your personal life, right? Like it seems like you have a great supportive team industry wise, but like how has it been journey wise with like family and friends? Is it hard to balance?
It's a little.
It's a sensitive.
Yeah, I feel like people don't, like where I come from, people look at me like, oh, it's just Will. Like, it's just Wilson. Like that Wilson is my real name, actually. Yeah. They be like, oh, it's just Wilson. He's a regular old dude. So in my town, they look at me like a regular old dude. But if you go to like Europe,
they don't want to give you the respect.
Yeah, like I feel like it's weird. I don't want to talk down on my town or nothing like that. I love everyone, but it's just I expected them to show me, more love. You know what I'm saying? So fortunately, that's not.
What I've learned, it's like it's never like a personal thing. It's just sometimes people see you, growing. And since you come from the same spot, they're like, oh, he built different. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's.
And you know what's crazy? I'm not perfect, right? I made mistakes, myself. So I remember there was I went through a little phase when I started like unfollowing people. And I'm like, yo, fuck them.
Did you get that energy?
Yeah, it's just like. But then as I got older, years passed. I'm like, yo, they, it is what it is, right? Like they don't deserve that,
No.
And there's some people that actually we got cool again, right? Like not to a point that we chill every day, but we still speak and we made amends. That's how you say that. So I was like, it is what it is.
I think that's the nice part about like growing up. Like you said, you realize that money's not everything. That like actually like spending time and moments with people, that's what really you can cherish over time. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's super dope. I wanted to also get into like outside of being, signed in those moments, like what was a really special moment in your life? You're like, wow, I can't believe this is happening.
I would say like you mean like an event, like
anything that's special to you. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like that Romeo Mike pass thing.
Oh, okay.
When he passed me the mic, I'm like, oh,
yeah, that's big.
He knows me.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. A lot of people around me were like, of course he knows you. You work with like, Lenny, that's his brother. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, but to me, that was just like, it was a big moment. You know what I'm saying?
Huge.
So. A lot of people was asking like, yo, like, how do you get, I don't know if you ever seen that video.
I have not, just to be honest, but yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So he passes you a mic.
Yeah, like he tossed it to me. Yeah. So I grabbed it, I kind of like delivered.
Wow.
And everybody was like, it was crazy how the crowd was like yelling. Like, oh, that was shit.
There's no high like that. Like,
that was just wild.
To capture that energy again, it's like, wow.
And it was crazy because I was sitting front row seat and I'm like kind of like waving at him like, yo.
Yeah.
And I think he was like
He designed.
And I was like, but yeah, when he passed me, I'm like, man, that was crazy.
If you could think of a concept, because I see like you and Dan just thinking of ideas all the time. Like if you were like to make a song with like Romeo or like, you know, like what would you call it? Like what would be the concept real quick? I know that's hard to say. Like
yeah,
we've
got a concept, but we don't got the name yet, but we do got the concept.
Yeah.
And I actually don't want to kind of say it because defeats the purpose.
Yeah, for sure. But you have it ready.
Yeah, just in case if it does happen.
That's dope. That's why I like how you guys work. That's fire. Like some people, like I've had people on the podcast where they're like, yeah, I don't know yet, or like I didn't think about that. Like when you're prepared like that, sky's the limit.
Yeah, I'm definitely when it comes to creating,
you're ready.
I'm a workaholic, right? When it comes to creating.
That's dope. Could you see yourself like in a different, like if you weren't doing the genre of like bachata merengue, like what's another genre you could see yourself just smashing?
R&B.
Let's go. That'd be fire.
That's my thing right there.
That's dope.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you guys listen to some things before you leave today.
Hey, I'm with it, man. What I'm
saying?
Definitely want to hear what you got.
But
in the boat.
Yeah, no, I definitely got some stuff. Let me see. I wanted to say, when you step in the studio, right? Are you creating for like the charts, the culture, or the block you like came from?
It's just I don't think about none of that stuff.
That's dope. Yeah.
Just what I feel, what I'm going through, at the moment.
Yeah. Does Lenny ever approach you though, and he's like, "Yo, we gotta make the single"? You know what I'm saying? Like you're like, maybe we have the single. Like you might be in love. Like you guys might be in love with something you already created.
Como que él no jode mucho con eso, right? He's never bothered with none of that. Like
that's cool.
He actually accepted everything that we had.
That's dope.
Which was dope. Like I was like, damn.
Because that's hard sometimes. Like
that helped me build like confidence actually.
Yeah, for sure.
Like him just like kind of like
do your thing.
Yo, like you dope. Like you bringing a lot to the table.
That's fire. So,
yeah.
That's fire. No, I love that. I love that because, that's why I said sometimes being in the room with other respected artists, including yourself, it's like you feel right at home versus sometimes you might be working with like other people and you're like, this is not where I'm supposed to be. So when you're like where you're supposed to be, I think the energy is different.
A lot of people don't know, but I actually, I was a R&B. I tried R&B for a few years, and
it wasn't your thing.
It wasn't it, man. But I felt like I had to go through that.
Yeah.
To become the artist that I am today, because I kind of used some of those stuff. But, I learned so much, dealing with like Daniel and stuff.
Yeah.
So I've grown a lot as an artist and as a person. But
that's dope.
I definitely had to go through that little phase.
I feel like you guys have this thing where like I feel like it's like water to a glass. Like if you pour, water in this glass, or if you pour it in the ice cube tray, like it's gonna mold and fit right in.
Right.
So I feel like you guys probably have that flow where, you can adapt. Like if Diplo hit you with the record, you'd be like, let's smash it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah. You guys have that universal.
We'll always find a way to make it work.
See? Tell him again.
We'll always find a way to make it work.
There we go. That's dope. Nah, man. When you see yourself, maybe you just dropped the album. 2 years from now, is there like somewhere, do you have a certain goal for yourself and the team? Like, is there something that you're trying to accomplish, or you're just like, again, you go right back to the writing,
I just want to start performing, man.
Performing, yeah. COVID killed a lot of that, like the whole performance. Like I feel like COVID like killed performances, and then like people like, I don't know.
It did a little bit, bit, yeah. It kind of like it's like they slowed it down a little bit.
Would you play like live too, like during your performances, since you play like guitar?
Yeah, I got a lot of ideas that I want to do on stage that a lot of people don't really do nowadays. So yeah, definitely wanna.
What's some acts maybe like from this area or like that's already on that you feel would like be a nice partnership, like to open up for you or something like that?
Like another artist?
Yeah. Is there like other artists that you feel like would be nice to like open up with you or like, be with you on that stage?
Like in the same genre or?
No. Just in general, like who would you maybe put on yourself?
Um, Top of the head, I don't. What do you think, Daniel?
I was saying like, if you guys had like a big show, like is there like a certain like act out you feel like opened up for Will that hmm? Could be from the genre or anything that you feel like would yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because then it would be like boring, right? Like, cause damn the whole night bachata.
Yeah.
Oh, he's
Christian
dope.
Alizé.
He's
Okay.
fire.
Okay. Bachi.
Or
Oh yeah.
Blachi, yeah, he's dope.
Yeah. Yeah, that's dope. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be fire.
Could you ever see yourself like being like a feature on like a dembo, but like killing it in R&B?
I could do it, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be fire. Yeah, I was just
I
thinking
actually
about that.
sent him my idea once. He was like, "Oh, it actually sounds good."
That's dope. That's dope. Because I love the energy from like dembo and stuff like that, and like even for me, like sometimes I try to incorporate that bounce. You know what I'm saying? I feel like with like a little bit of R&B on it, like would open.
He's always said. I mean, I don't think like me as like me myself like as an artist. I don't think I'm all that.
Yeah.
But he tells me, he'd be like, "Yo, like you could actually cross over. Like you're mad versatile. Like you could." But
that's good. Like when you're humble and you don't think you're the complete. Like when you don't feel like you're a master of anything. It makes life interesting.
I feel like in life in general, you should always be a student. You shouldn't think that you know it all, right?
Yeah. Because the journey ends.
Yeah.
It's kind of boring.
Yeah.
And it keeps you sharp too.
Yeah.
So even when you're like exceeding somebody's expectation and you're like, wow, like Will's a crazy artist, and you're like, yeah, I'm all right. Like, you just keep going hard, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's dope. That's dope.
I feel like MJ was like that.
Yeah, MJ's like definitely
MJ was mad, like he was a humble dude, and like he didn't think he was all that, but he was all that.
Yeah, he was.
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, because I could see like your admiration for Chris Brown, and then like someone like MJ, like they're performers in every aspect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I kind of grew up listening to them. So
yeah.
I still listen to like Jackson 5, believe it or not.
Wow.
One of my favorite tracks from them is "Who's Loving You."
Yeah, that's oh my god,
saying,
beautiful,
like,
beautiful track.
Listen to stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
That's dope.
Yeah.
What else is in your rotation? Like you said, Chris Brown, The Weeknd,
Drake, 112.
Oh wow, yeah.
Who else? Jay-Z.
Yeah.
Nas.
Yeah.
Who else? 50.
You got in Dirk.
A little Dirk, yeah.
Little Dirk.
But I'm actually a big, huge 50 Cent fan, man. Like, I respect everything that he's done.
Yeah.
Like, I even read his book.
Wow.
Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, this dude's a genius. Like,
do you think you could get him on a bachata track?
Be tough.
That'd be hard as hell though. Like
it would be
to break
tough.
barriers like that, like
I can actually finesse that though. Like I can actually make him fit in a bachata. Yeah.
I could see you guys doing that though.
Like, I can actually make him fit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I know he's doing his little TV shows and stuff like as entertainment. But I also watch that. I keep up with that too. Like I watch I haven't missed not one episode on all his like shows.
Do you see yourself like ever expanding into like more entertainment like acting or stuff? Or you feel
Yeah, I'll be telling Daniel that.
That's dope. That's dope.
I want to do this. I want to do a movie about this.
Yeah. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. Nah, man, like I feel like everything you express, like,
let's see what happens, right?
Yeah.
God, hopefully, God willing,
Yeah.
he lets me,
Yeah. I wanted to, kind of like, I wanted to tap in and see where like this clarity, this beauty, this warmth is from your guys' music. And like, I'm feeling it today from what you guys are expressing, like seeing your loyalty, your unity, going against the grain. And what do you feel are like some of the politics in the industry that really like, gives you guys a hard time? Because I think that's the thing, like when people tune into the podcast, this one is like, again, we try to get into like, yeah, there's a lot of beautiful things that happen, but like, what are these roadblocks that your guys like, listen, we got to knock these walls down because.
I mean,
You want to come in?
Yeah.
Oh, this
I think
is
so,
going to be
yeah.
a first time on the podcast. We're going to do a switch
Actually,
out.
can we switch actually?
Yeah, we're going to do a
baby.
switch out.
No, I want you to sit here.
So we're going to have a switch out. I got so now like I don't have a personalized intro for Daniel, but
It's okay.
This is dope though. Yeah. There's always a first on the podcast. And this is another first. I love this.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen. What you want me to give the government? Do you have the artist name?
Nah, I don't even have an artist name. You know what I'm saying?
Well, ladies and gentlemen,
Will calls me a whole bunch of stuff online. Mr. Miyagi, no IG Daniel, because I have no social media.
We got no IG Daniel, aka Mr. Miyagi, aka the pen is finesse. Thank you. I'm glad to have you guys here.
Thank you.
Welcome. Bienvenue.
Yeah.
Second time around. That's welcome in French. So we have Daniel.
Appreciate you.
The better half of Will's, success. As an artist, so yeah, talk to the people.
No, this is it's actually a first, because normally, like you said, I'm in the background.
I love that.
So a lot of the times
bring it in.
We have interviews and stuff like, they're asking me questions, but the people don't really get to see who's this guy asking these questions to.
That's dope.
So, I told Will, Will always wants me to be in the interviews, and I'm like, nah, it's all about you and things like that.
You guys are reminding me of one of your songs where like either the intro or the outro is completely different from the song. So that's what the podcast feels like.
That's on purpose. And I told Will, I told him, today maybe, finally, I'll be in the interview for a couple minutes, because, you mentioned me so much in these interviews. People want to know who is this guy. First, I am Will's manager.
Yeah.
But I also am, the co-producer and the writer to the music. So, it's a lot of questions at times that people want to ask Will, and I do notice it's a little difficult because they're asking, so what did you think at the,
it's like asking the legs or like without the brain, like what's happening in this?
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
Correct. So take advantage. You got a couple minutes. I'm gonna do a couple minutes here. So any question you might have about the music and things like that.
I was gonna say like, we've kind of gone into your guys' workflow, but I wanted to know like what are some of your guys' frustrations as a team that you feel like industry-wise, like, because I felt like even when I spoke to you on the phone, we were finding that commonality where
well, in this genre, it's very difficult because I feel unlike other genres, they have 10, 15 A-list artists.
Yeah.
In our genre, I feel when you take the OGs out of the equation, it's pretty much like two main artists, Romeo Santos and Prince Royce.
Yeah.
They're signed to major labels, they have the machine behind them.
Yeah.
And then you have, these independent artists trying to compete.
Exactly, and get through the door.
Get through the door, which we feel, are as talented. They're super talented.
Yeah.
We have tons of artists in our genre that we feel they are super talented. The only thing that they're missing is maybe that bag behind them, that machine behind them, and things like that. And
because it's usually what you need, like 30 to like 50 grand just to get started. Sometimes.
At least,
exactly.
On the low end.
Yeah, on the low end.
And so we feel like it's an uphill battle.
Yeah. Especially in a world where music isn't even respected like it was, good or bad.
Correct.
And like it's hard because you guys might have the most spectacular food the world hasn't tasted.
Correct.
But they're not open to it because of how it's marketed
open to it.
Or whatever the case.
Correct.
Is.
And one of the things we have is like right now at the particular moment, you know, a lot of people will tell you that, you know, urban music, it's really what's in.
For sure.
You know, so a lot of promoters, a lot of program directors and stuff, like they're a little hesitant when they hear, you know, okay, you guys are coming with tropical music.
Exactly.
You know, bachata, merengue, it's tropical music, right? You know, which bachata or salsa will fall under it too. So, you know, it's like everybody wants to promote what's hot at the moment, what the wave is, and you know, unfortunately,
but they're also looking for something that's new.
So they say.
So it's like
they say. But then, you know, when we've had meetings and we presented stuff, you know, oh, we love it.
Yeah.
It's so new, it's so innovative. But you know, how would I market this? You know, how would I be able to put this in my program?
Yeah, because the politics is like, let's play it safe so we get the bag.
Correct.
Versus taking a risk on something that's beautiful, but like, you know.
People say they want to discover the new thing and take a risk, but in reality, I've noticed they don't.
Yeah.
You know, they want to, you know, co-sign you once everybody else has co-signed you.
Exactly.
So, you know, that's been the difficult, trying to cross over and break through that barrier, trying to get through the gatekeepers and the stuff like that, because you know, one thing that we've noticed, we thought at first it was, okay, if we make quality music, then the rest will be easy. No. And we've noticed that that's not the case. We've noticed that some of the powers that be, you know, it's not so much about the music.
No, it's true.
You know, it's about the politics and things like that. And, you know, what could we you know, bring to the table to also help them out and things like that. It's not so much about, you know, we found this new kid who's super talented, who has great music. Let me use my platform to introduce them to my audience and things like that. But if they do that, they're taking a huge risk.
Sure.
So, you know, at times, they're not willing really to take that risk. So we have to find a way to kind of try to take our music and put it in the faces of all the bachata fans in the world, which is very difficult when you know, when we don't have $1 million, $2 million budget.
It could be discouraging, and like most of you guys are like working these long hours and nights to create these classic projects, and then it's like you feel downbeat, you know, at the end of the day because somebody that has power is like, we don't know, blah blah blah.
Correct.
What's your background as well that like you guys have such an understanding for each other?
I actually went to school for business and music.
Okay.
So, you know, I went to school to study the music business.
Okay.
And then, you know, when I graduated college, you know, I had jobs at a couple major labels.
Gotcha.
My first job was at Arista Records. You know, I worked under Jermaine Dupri, L.A. Reid. My first project that I ever worked under was Usher's Confessions.
Wow.
You know, I worked in the A&R department. That was, yes.
Yeah. I remember buying that CD after school. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
that was my first introduction to the music business.
Wow.
And then at the time, you know, Arista had closed down and merged. And I got transferred over to J Records, where I worked under Clive Davis.
Wow.
Who was also, you know, a legendary person in the business. At the time when I was there, I remember he would just sign in like Alicia Keys. You know, Swiss Beats had gotten his label deal, and he had brought out Cassidy at the time. That was his first artist. You know, so in the beginning, you know, my experience wasn't on the Latin side. It was more hip hop and R&B.
Gotcha. What are your roots?
Well, I am Dominican,
You're
so
Dominican
you know,
as well,
so obviously bachata and merengue, you know,
always part of your culture.
Always part,
Yeah.
And then, you know, I got a job at Sony Music where I was there, you know, pretty much like almost a decade.
Yeah.
And I worked, you know, with different artists, different projects, you know, Beyonce, Shakira, you know, and I worked in different departments, A&R, you know, in the finance department. So I got to
Did you ever find that like for somebody that's also has this talent for writing, did you ever find it draining, or is it still useful to this day that you found like how to navigate certain rooms?
I don't think it's draining because during that time when I was working at these labels, you know, I was working on my own music.
Good.
It was English music. It was not bachata. It was Latin music. But the reason why I don't think it's draining is because a lot of music songwriters that I met, they write every day. They'll write multiple songs daily.
And,
you know, and
I kind of gave you a break too.
I only write when I feel like inspired. So I could go 3-4 months without writing. And it's just is what it is. So, you know, with Will, when he was working on the project, you know, like until we had like a melody or something that we felt like was good enough that, okay, this deserve us or myself to write lyrics too, you know, we don't have to rush it.
You guys feel like almost like you know how like Sade's classic where Sade can go in hiding for like 9 years, come out, kill the album. Like is that a way that you guys like to work?
I feel that because, you know, like I feel like I could go months without writing a lyric. Then because I'm just not inspired to write anything.
That's a beautiful way to write. That's the way I feel like I've always been energized as an artist, and like I understand that workflow. Like,
and then I feel when he does come up with a melody that I'm really excited about, like that motivates me enough that I'm like, okay, I need to write something to this. But until then, I'm like, I'm fine. Like,
I feel like that's why the music feels sincere. Like even if there might be like a language barrier for someone like myself, I feel sincerity and just the flow of like the whole track itself. And like, I don't know how it's in French. I want to say je ne sais quoi. Like it's just like that thing you can't put your finger on, but it's there.
I tell Will the people, there's the fans of music, the consumers of music, they love music, but I bet you if you sit them down and you ask them, why do you like this? It's very hard for them to tell you why.
Exactly.
Right. And I told Will, you know, the first thing that people connect to, like you were saying when you listen to it, I heard you saying like the vibes and things like that, even though you might not understood every word. And I told him that comes from like the rhythm and the melody.
Yes.
I feel like the first thing people listen to a song is 90% of the time is they listen to the rhythm and the melody. And then they go back the second time, okay, let me listen to these lyrics. You know, and I tell them that's why the melody is so important to us. I feel like we could catch their ear first with the melody. They're going to come back around and listen to the lyrics.
Exactly.
So that's the most important thing to us is make sure we have a good melody that we could catch their attention right away.
What was something you were like truly proud of on the Midnight Confessions? Like whether it was like a lyric or like a song, like what was your favorite part of the project?
I think it was just giving the people something. Every song we wanted to do something different. I know it's hard in bachata because in bachata is pretty much love and heartbreak, right? So it's like, you know, we've had a lot of people tell us like every song has its own story.
Yes.
Every song has its own, you know, even though it is bachata and it's either heartbreak or, you know, love. And I told Will, you know, that's something that I'm very proud of because that's something that we set out to do. We wanted every track to be something that people could relate to the point like, I remember I lived that moment or I knew somebody that happened to.
That's dope.
So I think when people could connect to the music, it's easier for them to like the music.
For sure. And I feel like that's the thing about bachata from my standpoint. I always felt like it had a monotony after a while. But what was beautiful about the listening party, it was like, again, you had the mountains to your project. You had your peaks and your valleys.
Correct.
And I think that's what made it like refreshing.
When people ask me, you know, they don't speak Spanish, the best way that I could describe bachata, I always tell them, it's like Latin country music. It really is. Like, you know, it's because country music, when you listen to it, it's about love and heartbreak. So for Dominicans and, you know, people who love bachata, that's pretty much what it is to us.
But the dynamic of the drums and stuff like that always caught me. Like from maybe a producer standpoint, it's like ding, 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 ding. Like how it kind of like speeds up slow. I'm like, oh, that's hard, you know? Like, that's dope. So how do you find pockets like that as a writer? Like did you naturally come across the genre of bachata and was like, yo, I can just pen easily to it? Or was it something you kind of studied at first?
No, I didn't study it. I think just being Dominican and growing up in a household where they always play bachata, I think it just come naturally to us.
Blood.
It's in the blood.
That's going to be your third album, by the way. It's in the blood. Because that's the thing I'm like hearing, you know, in Spanish though. I'd be like, you know.
So it does come naturally to us. I don't think, it was not something that I went and studied.
Yeah. That's dope, though. Not like, again, like, I don't know if you have your drink. I just want to cheers you guys. Like,
thank you.
You guys are humble, talented gentlemen. And like, again, I just wish you guys all the success in the world.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
There's very few that enter this game with, you know, your guys' hospitality, your guys' courage, you know, like, and I really, you know, for somebody that falling in and out of music love and stuff
Right.
like that. Like I want to see people like yourself successful, you know?
I mean, that is the goal.
Yes.
I mean, we knew coming into it that we were kind of behind the 8 ball because, like I said, we're doing music that might not be the most popular right now.
Yeah.
Especially amongst like the younger people, the younger crowd. But you know, like we stuck to our guns and stuck to our roots. Like, you know, we grew up around this music. We love this music so much.
But everything has a rotation where it's kind of like, you know, tight jeans wasn't a thing, you know, but then baggy jeans came back. And the same thing, you see that, you know, and then the Air Force One is forever, you know? So I feel like bachata has that same thing. It's going to come in. It's going to have that. I mean, you guys, just like everything else, like the Romeo Santos record, you guys are ready.
We are ready.
You guys are ready.
So Romeo, if you do see this interview, we are ready. You know,
so ready.
All you got to, you know, I know you got Lenny's number, so you could just hit up Lenny and we could just set this up.
I've had the weirdest things come across my podcast, like where I'm like, yo, this person saw the podcast, so you never know, you know.
You know, I know with Lenny, a lot of people have thought, oh, you know, it's just so easy to get Romeo on a record because you guys are signed with Lenny, you know, but you know, one thing, just having conversations with Lenny, and you know, Will and I have understood this, like, you know, we don't want to just Lenny to go, okay, because this is my artist, just do me this favor and just jump on this record. You know,
then you have favor energy.
Correct.
You want somebody to be ambitious, like the mic throw, right? You want that mic.
We wanted him to, you know, we wanted to put out music that he could listen to and respect it. And like Lenny said, if he respects it and he likes the music, you know, maybe he'll come around.
Yeah.
You know, so we wanted to do something that, you know, him being the leader of the genre, that the leader of the genre could hear it and be like, okay, like this is dope. You know, this is something that I like to work with this kid maybe one day.
My grandfather always said this. He's like, sometimes, you know, he's like, I remember just like praying on like a Jaguar or something, like, you know, that's your dream or whatever. But then it's like God, universe, the life, however you want to put it, like sometimes has like a Bugatti waiting for you. And it's like, you never know like that. Exactly. It's bigger than what you think. And it's like, you know, as long as you guys keep respecting your loyalty, your unity to the team, you keep creating beautiful records as you have, like, again, the outcome should be as beautiful.
That's all we could do. You know, sometimes we do get frustrated at times, but you know, like there's a lot of things that we can't control.
Yes.
We can't control radio. We can't control what promoters want to do.
Yes.
You know, so I tell Will, all we could control is the quality of music that we could put out.
Beautiful.
And then, you know, the chips will fall where they may.
Exactly.
You know, there's so many people that say, oh, we want new bachata artists. We want, you know, it can't always be the same guys all the time. Okay, where here it is.
Exactly.
You know, we dropped the quality album, we feel, you know, so
like
now the ball's in your court.
Exactly.
You know, all those you know, radio people, all those promoters, all those people that said, you know, we just need quality music or a new artist. Okay, there you go. You know, I feel like we did our part. Now is, you know, the ball's on their court to whether they, you know, they want to support, they want to help, you know, bring up a new artist in the genre, which they've been complaining about for like 15 years, I feel. Well, you know, there you have it.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Dan, do you have any words of wisdom to the young man or woman maybe interning like you did or like climbing this ladder? Like,
what I could tell them is if believe in yourself, believe in your talent, you know, because until you really, really make it, 99% of the feedback you're going to get is going to be, I don't know, it's going to be negative and stuff because they don't see it. They don't see the vision. And as long as you stick to your vision, you know, stick to your guns.
Yes.
You know, because there's been a lot of times that we've done music that we just said, you know, we like it, so we're going to do it. We don't know how the public's going to.
No, exactly.
You know, but, you know, if we feel good about it, we're going to record it and we're going to put it out. And, you know, we could look ourselves in the mirror and say, you know what? If it made it, then great.
Yeah.
If it didn't make it, you know, we went down, you know, in our terms.
Yeah, somebody like...
Instead of doing music where, you know, the worst thing I think is to fail doing music that you don't really love, that you made because you thought, okay, this is what the public wanted to hear.
It's like Mozart's journey, right?
Yeah.
Like you might... somebody might dig in the crates and come across your guys' work, and it's going to be an inspiration to that next generation, whether you know it or not. You know, like sometimes you live an artist, die an artist with all like the misery and the pain and all that. And sometimes like people just can't recognize it for the time being, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't become classic.
Right. I tell Will all the time, there's songs that come out that, you know, the public thinks, oh, well, this song just came out. Yeah. And I was like, that song really came out 5 years ago.
Or it's been recycled.
Or 6 years ago. And the artist's been trying to break this record for 5-6 years.
Yeah, yeah. Wasn't that the story for Rich Boy, like Throw Some D's?
Correct.
He was like pushing that for like 15 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so I told him like, listen, all we could do is make quality music. And, you know, we have gotten a lot of positive feedback on the project. Okay. You know, so we're grateful for that. You know, the issue that we're trying to, you know, navigate now is just how do we put the music in front of just a wider audience? Gotcha. Because the smaller audience that have heard the music, they have loved the music. You know, so it's just, you know, when you don't have that machine behind you, it's like, how do you put that music in front of the millions of bachata fans across the world that might only hear bachata music because, you know, they listen to top 40 radio.
Exactly.
Or things like that, you know, where an independent artist will never get to be.
Yeah.
You know, so how do we reach them? Because those people have been saying, you know, we want new artists in bachata. We, you know, and there's, like I said, it's not just Will. We feel there's tons of artists in our genre that are super talented that, you know, people just, the wider, bigger audience just haven't had a chance to hear yet.
Yeah, because you're also keeping a genre alive that, again, it comes with like a lot of respect. It's not just like a whatever genre, you know what I'm saying? It's like it has a lot of, like you said in the beginning, like soul and, you know, roots that like made people's lives beautiful, you know?
And that's why I told Will, like, if, you know, if we get to the point where we want to be, we know there's other genres. Hip-hop, they have, for example, we live in the tri-state area, so they have Summer Jam, where they have the top artists, whatever, of that year.
Yeah.
You know, the urban artists, reggaeton and stuff like that, they have their concerts all the time. You know, why can't we have our own concert like that, like a bachata? You know, so if we make it to that point, you know, we want to not just the OGs, because it's easier for the OGs to do it, even though they still don't do it.
Exactly.
You know, so we want to have you know, get to that point where we could have our own concert like that.
That's why you guys got to be this young energy that inspires.
And we could have all these up-and-coming bachata artists, too, that we think are super fired, that people just don't know about.
Exactly.
You know, so that's a goal that we have that we want to do in the future. Just get to a point where, you know, he could sell out just a big venue by himself, and we want to do something that maybe, you know, other artists from the genre haven't done.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, why we can't have 5, 6, 7, 8 other up-and-coming bachata artists on that same bill.
Yeah.
You know, so we're just trying to bring, you know, the bachata to the world.
Absolutely.
Pretty much.
Absolutely. Yeah. And well, you guys are doing a great beginning to that.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
So, you know, unless you have any other questions, you know, I'm going to bring Will back.
Bring Will back. No, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
No IG, Dan. Living his best life because he's probably not on IG.
I'm not on IG. I have no social media whatsoever. Never had.
Yeah.
You know, I told Will, once we reach the point where we want you to reach, that's when I'm going to finally create
an IG.
Well,
we'll be there. Welcome you with open arms, man.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Again, first, we got the dynamic duo on the Chez Parlay podcast. This has been super dope. I didn't expect that, but I like that. I like the unexpected. That's super dope. So how's the drinks? Who makes better drinks?
It's pretty much the same.
You're a kind man.
Pretty much the same.
You're a kind man.
Pretty much the same. No, I'm being honest.
No, I know. You guys been nothing but honest.
Unless I'm just like a little feeling nice right now.
Nah, but same thing before we wrap up, I wanted to know, like, you know, from your side of being the artist, the face of the brand, like, do you have any words of wisdom to someone, again, there might be a kid like in Paterson, he just trying to like make his bachata dreams come true, like let the people know, like.
I'm gonna piggyback on what Daniel said, you know, just be yourself. Be yourself. Try to, you know, be consistent, you know, try to get the right team around you.
Yeah.
And just be smart about every move that you make, right? Like Daniel always says, quality over quantity.
Yes.
You know, keep that nice little circle like that. They just loyal, that's loyal to you, and they have their best interest at heart. Your best interest at heart. I'm sorry.
For sure. I feel like it's always harder to like down like a shot of wheatgrass than eat a burger, which you know is good for your heart in the long run. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, absolutely, I believe in that as well, man.
Yeah, I feel like you know what's crazy, that once Daniel started coming around, in my life, like everything started to change.
Nice.
Like people around me started to change. You know, friends. You know, as soon as I started like kind of like focusing on myself 100%, they looked at it like, oh, he's switching up. Like, he moving funny. Like, oh, look, like.
You know what I've been noticing that a lot? Like, you're not the first guest that said it, but even like my last guest, Ad, everybody's been mentioning, like in a non-selfish way, in a healthy, selfish way, when you start focusing on yourself and the right thing, and you're just like, you're not living for other people and you got your boundaries, people get like, it's almost you start seeing people like go up in flames because you're just like you know, like, oh, how dare you do yourself? You know what I'm saying? Like in a good way.
It's like, if anything, you should be proud of that,
exactly.
Right? Like, you know,
it's hard for people to understand.
Yeah, like if you know, I've had like friends that's done that to me. Like they distance themselves because I feel like everybody has their own thing going on in life, right?
Exactly.
Like, you know, not everybody is going through the same thing, you know, simultaneously, you know, like at the same time. So
they're seeing your highlight reels, they're seeing your music videos, they're seeing you,
like,
you know, but like you still guys got stuff that goes on
exactly,
in the background.
Like I have like one of my boys, which is Daniel's cousin, Brando. Shout out to Brando.
Shout out Brando.
Brando was going through something in life, and he kind of distanced himself. I didn't feel offended. Like I understood like what he was going through, right? So he kind of like put his head down, he locked in, and he did what he had to do. Like, you know, now, you know, dude bought a house in Miami. Like, you know, he's living with his family. Like he's doing his thing. You know,
sometimes people don't realize like you got to go through a certain amount of life to understand people's lives. And sometimes you haven't gone through that barrier or that level to understand, like, hey, it's cool you're not talking to me or whatever. I don't take it personally because I know we good.
Right.
You know, versus other people get offended by it because they just haven't experienced that level of life yet, you know? So with that said, you know, keep living your best life, both of you, the whole team. And again, shout outs to Lenny. I know he's a large part of your recent project.
Lenny Santos.
That's right. And, you know, again.
It's the GOAT right there. Y'all still can't believe I'm working with that dude.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah, man. This dude, he's the GOAT, man. I've learned so much with him.
But you also the GOAT. He's the GOAT. Everybody's
I don't
the GOAT,
consider,
you know what I'm saying?
Well, like I say in my songs, I consider myself a young Simba.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I said, like, you next up in the Latin royalty, you guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, you part of it. Like, it's in the blood.
Yeah,
you know, it's
exactly.
in the blood. So it's been an honor and pleasure speaking with you guys.
Likewise, man. Likewise.
And for all of you tuning in, this was my interview with Wilven Bello.
Wilven Bello, yeah.
Bello, see? I switched it up.
You got it. She's like, it's not Bello, it's Bello.
Bello. And please check out his album. Again, I had the pleasure of listening to it at the party, and it's on my playlist. And I just ride out to it, man. And I wish everybody to have that same experience and to tap in because, again, you guys, I'm not even saying you're next, you're already here. It's just for everybody else to catch up. You know what I'm saying? So
I hear you, dog.
Cheers to that.
Cheers.
It's been another episode of Chez Parlay. We'll catch you guys next time. Peace.
SOD.